So with Backlash being a week and a half away from this point, it really feels like Backlash has either the potential to be a sleeper build as far as the match card, or one of the most mid match cards that we've ever seen thus far. Because on paper, Backlash has always been the event following WrestleMania, the event that precedes WrestleMania, the event that has the WrestleMania fallout. I mean, for goodness sakes, a few years ago, it was called WrestleMania Backlash. So you would expect some sort of, big time matches here, and we do have some of them here on this show. Again, there's only about 3 matches announced. I assume there'll be 6 matches in total, but a lot of people have been kind of left with the idea of, man, this Backlash card really isn't as hitting as well as it should have. I mean, we have matches such as Pat McAfee and Gunther on this show, so a lot of people are kind of questioning whether or not this Backlash will actually deliver. I'm of the thought of, I think it will deliver in a sense. I don't think it's going to be a top 10 PLE of all time. I don't think it's going to be up there as far as top 5, Triple H booked PLEs, but the main event, John Cena and Randy Orton, this is obviously taking place at Backlash due to the fact of where Backlash is located, that being St. Louis, Missouri. I am one of the people here that, going into this match, I'm expecting nothing going into this match. The promos that we've had thus far are great. I love them, right? Because who would have thought in 2007, 2009, John Cena, a heel John Cena, would be lectured by Randy Orton on the joys of parenting, right? In 2025, who would have thought that? But the reason I say going into this match, I'm expecting nothing is because, I mean, just look at the Cody match. Look at that. If Cody Rhodes can't get a good match out of John Cena, then I don't know if Randy can as well, and I've heard people say, well, John Cena's ruined wrestling on purpose. That's his whole shtick. He's trying to have bad matches. I get he's trying to ruin wrestling, but that's the whole storyline with the title. It's not the whole storyline of him just going in there and having shitty matches. So going into this match, my expectations are low. I think this whole thing is going to be dependent solely on the crowd, because the crowd, they can make a good match into a great match. They can make a mid match into a good match. It all depends really on the crowd. And that being in St. Louis, Missouri, I think the crowd is definitely going to aid them rather than deter them. Next, we have Gunther against Pat McAfee. And you're either, split on this decision. You either love it or you either hate it. I'm of the thought of, Gunther against Pat McAfee is not the direction I would have gone for Backlash. I would have had Gunther, to be honest, sit out the rest of the springtime until SummerSlam or until Money in the Bank or something like that. But regardless, we do have this match. Going into this match, I'm expecting Gunther to just demolish this man, because obviously Pat McAfee, he's had matches in the past. He's had matches at WrestleMania, NXT. But, this is Gunther. This is the ring general. This is the former World Heavyweight Champion. To go in there and to lose to Jey Uso, to Yeet Man at WrestleMania, to tap out in the way that he did, and to go in there and to have a competitive match with a announcer, right, Pat McAfee, and to go in there and potentially even lose, which I don't see him losing, but if he were to lose, that would be a massive mistake on the part of Triple H. But going into this match, he has to go in there and demolish Pat McAfee. Again, a lot of people really don't like that. A lot of people don't like Pat McAfee being involved. I don't mind it, but again, if you look at that Raw roster, you have people like AJ Styles, CM Punk, Braun Breaker, just to name a few guys. Rusev is back now. So it's really like, instead of those guys, you select Pat McAfee. Next, we have Becky Lynch against Lyra Valkyria. And to be honest, this match has really felt really rushed to me, because they did the whole turn in a night, right? In one night. They won the tag titles at WrestleMania, and by the next night, they lost them, and then Becky turned on Lyra. I'm of the thought of they could have stretched this out a bit further. They didn't have to do this, particularly at Backlash, because to me, like I said before, it just feels rushed. It just feels like from one week to the other week, things have changed, things are different, and now these two are enemies. I do predict that Becky Lynch will walk out with the Intercontinental Championship. I believe Not to put down Lyra, but the booking that they've given to Lyra really hasn't done any favors to that Intercontinental Championship. And I think if you have a name like Becky Lynch to go in there and to win that championship, it's going to obviously add some prestige to it. And eventually we'll probably see Bayley come out and feud with Becky over the title. And before I forget, we have Jey Uso against Logan Paul. This match, there's a lot of criticisms as far as Jey Uso as World Heavyweight Champion. There's a lot of criticisms for Logan Paul as well. People don't like Logan Paul. So you're really in this camp of people are saying that this is going to be a mid match between both guys. People, are saying, why Logan Paul? Why not somebody else like an AJ Styles, a CM Punk to that effect? But when you really take a look at the roster, Logan Paul, like him against Jey Uso, yes, I can understand why people would hate it, but as far as like the name value and obviously Logan Paul gets great heat all the time from the fans, and Jey Uso is the fan favorite that they all love. So I can understand where people are coming from as far as this Logan Paul hate, as far as him being the first challenger for Jey Uso's World Heavyweight Championship. But when you really take a look at the Raw roster, nobody else is in the position to take a pinfall to Jey Uso this quickly. You're not going to have Seth Rollins go in there and take a loss to Jey Uso. You're not going to have Braun Breaker go in there and take a loss to Jey Uso. You're not going to have Reigns go in there and take a loss to Jey Uso. You're not going to have Punk go in there and take a loss to Jey Uso. So Logan Paul is the perfect guy to go in there and take a loss to Jey Uso just because of that fact. Doesn't necessarily scream main event either, because to my knowledge, I think this is going to open the show rather than close it. Let me know what you guys think down below as far as the Backlash 2025 card. There's obviously going to be way more matches, I assume, added, maybe 1 or 2 to this whole Backlash card. Let me know if you think this is underwhelming. Let me know if you think that this Backlash card will eventually deliver. Like I said, I'm of the thought of this Backlash card has the potential to deliver if they play their cards right and if they go with the scenarios that I pitched here in this video. Let me know what all of you guys think down below, and until next time, take care, and I will see you later.